Francis has died. That's come from the Vatican. We just have that breaking news. Pope Francis has died. That's coming to us from the Vatican via the AFP news agency. We don't have any more details than that. This just reaching us here at BBC News in the last few minutes that Pope Francis...
Hey, Shalom, brother. Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto coming back with another one. And this is a good sign. This is a good sign in the end times, in the last days. This Jesuit priest turned Pope has done his job. The post and the office of Pope and the Catholic Church, right, which we know is in the scriptures. Now this is Revelation chapter 19 verse 20, and it reads, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him," right? And that false prophet is going into the Catholic Church. This Catholic Church system has done to the minds of our people great damage, because this is one of the power structures of this world. One of the power structures of this world is over there in the Vatican. That is a city-state. That is one of the powers of the world, which represents the spiritual power of this world on the left-hand side, right? That's why people get disenchanted by the scriptures, because of the Catholic Church and what they push, because they have nothing to do with the Bible. Everything about the Catholic Church is demonic, right? They just have a veneer. They have an image of holiness, but there's nothing holy about them. They're a part of that. They're a part of this structure, the system of this world, right? They're not needed anymore, right? People used to wonder, oh, why are they revealing so much negativity about the Catholic Church when it comes to PDF files? And, sometimes it seems like they're exposing themselves. They're not exposing themselves for the detriment of their plans. They're exposing themselves because they no longer care about the power structure of Christianity. They don't care about it anymore because they have already pushed that agenda to where people no longer believe in the Bible. The power structure that they're on now is the power structure of the dollar, right? The financiers, the international bankers, right? That goes back to England. That power structure is being used, and they're going to be used to push the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, right? And they're going to also use the other power structure, which is over there in Washington, D.C., which is the other city-state, which is the military, right? They're going to use their mighty man because there will be martial law. There will be martial law to push this this order ab chaos, order through chaos. There's going to be chaos, then there's going to be an action, a reaction, which is going to be the military, which they're going to usher in martial law. Then they're going to push that MOTB, that mark of the beast, right? So it says, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone," right? Because Yahushua, right, who you people ignorantly call Jesus, he's coming to destroy this whole system, right? That man that cometh on that white horse, right? That's written in the Apocrypha as a chariot or as a mountain, right? That great mountain it also says that he's coming with the armies of heaven, right? The armies of Israel to come and deliver the 144,000 along with the 1/3. That's the judgment that's coming upon this place, man.
At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church.
Yeah, the Lord that they're talking about is not our Father. He wasn't serving Yahweh, right? Even by that symbol right here, right? That's a penis, right? That's a phallus symbol. That has nothing to do with the with the Heavenly Father, right? That's a penis right there, and that's a pagan symbol, right? Just like him dying at 88. This is actually a good sign on the left hand side, because the number 88 has a lot of spiritual meaning, right? When you go into the spiritual meaning of the number 88, it goes into like their enterprise, right? So 88 to them is an auspicious number, meaning blessed, right? So hopefully this ushers in the mark of the beast, or the collapse of this old system, right? Hopefully it's a signifier to them to push this this digital system into high gear, which is going to culminate with the MOTB, right? Because we're in the time of the Feast of the Beasts, and May 1st, or May Day, is just around the corner, and a lot of symbolisms are gonna happen from now until the 1st. All you got to do is watch the elder of my camp's history of Yaikwab, his video on the Feast of the Beast. I know the elder apostle Gabar also did a lesson on it. I did one, I don't know, maybe years ago. Yeah, years ago I used to do lessons on the Feast of the Beast, but the brothers, the elder of my camp, Jeremiah, and then the elder apostle Gabar, they did one, and that one was really good, right? I'm not going deep into it because I'm just making this video because this is just a sign, right? This is a great sign, right? The fact that he died at 88, right? These people, these occult members, these high priests, they use the number 88 all the time, right? What's his name? Al Pacino. He had a movie, 88 Minutes. Kanye West, he had his album 808s and Heartbreaks, but that 88, right? He just put that 0 there, but 808 and Heartbreaks. When you go into different movies, TV shows, albums, they have that number 88. When you go back to the 80s, go back to the 1980s, you have the some different expos. There was Expo 88, right? So these high occult members and these witches and warlocks, whether they be rappers, whether they be artists, whether they be wrestlers, right? Because Lex Luthor, right? Lex Luthor and Ric Flair, they had a big thing in 88 as well, right? So when you do your research and you look up that number 88, it's a high occult number that's used by these different warlocks and these different witches. That number 88, even the Nazis used that for Hail Hitler, right? Because the letter H is the 8th letter in the alphabet, so that's HH, right? So Hail Hitler, they use that. Yeah, these different Nazis, these members, they'll have the number 88 as a tattoo. So if you ever see somebody, right, especially a skinhead or anything like that with the tattoo 88, that tattoo just simply represents Hail Hitler, right? But it's also a representation of blessings, right? Or karma, right? That karmic what would they say? That karmic mindset, right? So we're living in that time. This is a great sign, and all praises and all glory, right, to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. We're living in that time where we also have to be praying for brothers, because these are high occult times where our enemies are praying against us, right? So we have to send up curses against them, and we also have to pray for brothers as well, because we're living in serious times, brothers. Believe it or not, man. Right? We're in the time of the end. Right? We're in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well, and to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Until next time, I'd like to say Shalom, Kwame Asharala, and Abad Babal to this wicked, sinful kingdom.